I've been pushing away.
Hey guys, so welcome back to my channel. I am finally here to give you guys an update on what's been going on with Nolan. I've been getting so many questions lately and people wondering when am I going to update on him and his muscular dystrophy, and we actually just had our MDA clinic appointment this morning and we were about there for a couple hours, met with a neurologist, kind of went over some things. So I wanted to wait until we went to that appointment because he has them every 6 months before making an update. I don't think I made an update the last time we were there, but I do remember vlogging, so I'm gonna leave that vlog down below. And it's just so interesting to go back and see my feelings, or what my feelings were after that appointment and kind of how I'm feeling now. So if you are interested in checking out that vlog, I will leave it down below. But I don't know where to start with this video. I always feel like I never know where to start with these videos and what to really update on, because just like the last time we were at the clinic till this time, it's still very emotionally tiring. And it's just, I'm gonna be real with you guys because I try to be as open as possible as I can with you guys, and especially since I have been documenting this pretty much since day one when we got those first abnormal results. So I try to be as open and honest as I can with you guys during these videos, because I like to go back and look at them, and then also if anybody's going through a similar situation, they can also relate as well. And I have Harlow joining me for this video, so you might hear some grunting over here. So the first thing that I kind of wanted to touch on with going to the appointment is that it's very emotional in the sense that I'm kind of reminded of what Nolan's future, like what his future is going to be like, what is to be expected. And I know that sounds silly because you would think, you know, I would know that from the beginning when he first got diagnosed, but he's at a stage and age right now where his muscular dystrophy doesn't really affect him all that much. I mean, it does slightly, and I'll get into that in a little bit and share with you guys kind of how he's doing now, but we don't see like the prominent symptoms and signs of muscular dystrophy, so I'm not really reminded of it every single day. But when I go to the clinic and I see other kids coming in and out that have neuromuscular disorders and muscular dystrophy, then I can see firsthand what it's going to be like, and it's really terrifying and scary for me, and that's what makes it really emotional. But I first, before I get into all of that, I wanted to kind of go over what exactly Duchenne muscular dystrophy is. I know I have a lot of new viewers or people that have been watching and know that Nolan has Duchenne, but they don't really know exactly. I might have to take a nursing break. Alright, so like I was saying, I know I have a lot of new viewers that might not know what Duchenne muscular dystrophy is, or I have some viewers that, you know, they know that Nolan has a dystrophy, but they don't really know much about it. So I kind of wanted just to briefly go over that a little bit with you guys, just so a lot of you can have a better understanding, because it's still even kind of confusing for me, and I feel like I'm always learning new things about muscular dystrophy. And this is something that's interesting, is that Duchenne is one of 9 types of muscular dystrophy. For some reason in my head, I thought there was like so many different kinds, but to know that there's only 9 is kind of mind-boggling to me. But it is a genetic disorder, which I would say that's the most interesting thing about it all, because nobody on my side of the family, and it only passes through the X chromosome, so it didn't come from from Ian's side, so it did come from me. I do carry that particular gene. Nobody in my family has Duchenne that we know of, or that has been diagnosed or shown any kind of signs of muscular dystrophy. Nobody. Maybe a long time ago, I don't know. I mean, it could have just something that happened within myself. That would be the rare circumstance of it all, but nobody in my family has it. So it's pretty odd that he has a genetic disorder, but nobody in our family has it. But it is caused by the absence of the dystrophin gene, which is the protein that is in your muscles and helps it stay together and intact. So I'm just gonna read a little bit to you guys. So symptom onset is in early childhood, starting from the earliest of 3, even though Nolan just show some signs of weakness. And the thing about Duchenne is that it's primarily in boys. It's crazy because women can carry that gene, but it only is in boys. Rarely it can happen in girls. So it can happen, it can affect girls, but it's very, very rare. Okay, so the symptoms of DMD, which Nolan does have a little bit of muscle weakness right now. All right, so muscle weakness can begin as early as age 3, and first it affects the muscles of the hips, the pelvic area, thighs, shoulders, and then later the arm, the legs, the trunk. The calves often are enlarged, which I've kind of noticed with Nolan that he does have pretty big calves, or I guess enlarged calves, but it's hard to, bless you, it's hard to kind of gauge that because the rest of his body is kind of like stocky. He's kind of like a husky kind of boy. I don't know how else to say it. You guys probably know what I'm talking about. So I do notice that his calves are a little enlarged. By the early teens, the heart and respiratory muscles are also affected. There is also a milder version of DMD, and it's called Becker, but as you guys know, Nolan does have the more severe dystrophy. Let's see. So DMD carriers are females who have a normal dystrophin gene on one X chromosome. So essentially boys have an X and a Y chromosome, whereas girls have 2 X chromosomes. So they could have the one affected dystrophin gene, but the other X chromosome would make up for that. But since boys have Y, they don't have enough, I guess you could say, to help that affected gene, if that makes sense. That's the best way the neurologist explained it to me, and kind of how I think of it as. So one question I've gotten before is, since I am a carrier, will I have symptoms and signs of DMD? And most likely no. It could happen, but a common thing that can happen later in life for me that I would have to get checked out is that I could develop cardiomyopathy. Hopefully I'm saying that right. Yeah, something like that. So I will have to get ultrasounds on my heart, but that won't be until later, like in my 40s. But as far as carrying the gene, it will most likely not affect me as far as like muscle weakness and that kind of stuff. Another question I get that's kind of hard to talk about is, what is the life expectancy in DMD? Usually boys with DMD do not survive much beyond their teen years. This was very common even up to just 10 years ago, but the great thing about modern science and new research that's constantly coming out about muscular dystrophy is that now boys with DMD can live well into their 30s and even their 40s or 50s. So that's a great thing, and you know, it's just one of those things that kind of vary from person to person. But yeah, that is kind of just the gist of it. I just kind of wanted to give you guys a rundown. Oh, another thing really quick is there can be learning disabilities associated with DMD because, you know, your brain is a muscle and it could have effect on learning problems like verbal learning and memory and emotional interaction and attention focusing. That can definitely be possible things that are going on. So I kind of wanted to get into how Nolan is doing now after kind of going, you know, briefly going over that. He right now is kind of like in this, the best way I can explain it is he's in this like plateau stage. So he hasn't shown, I mean, actually, you know, I shouldn't say he hasn't shown improvement. He has made a little bit of improvement. He, you know, has started running and being able to go up and down the stairs. He still has a little bit of trouble with that, but he hasn't had much of a decline either. So he's kind of just stayed the same since 6 months ago when we had that last appointment. But he does have trouble getting up from the floor. Usually he will have to like scoot over to something to get up, or if he does decide to get up, like let's say he's in the middle of the floor, you can definitely see that he does have a little bit of trouble, and it's hard to explain like how he gets up without showing you guys, so maybe I can insert a clip, but you can definitely just tell that he has some weakness. And like I was saying, it's kind of hard for him to go down the stairs. It's hard for him to climb up on the couch. But with that being said, I have seen him run and he's very active, and it doesn't seem like he's in pain. I don't think he's in any pain, but I can definitely just tell a little bit of the weakness is there. As far as like learning disabilities, usually the heart and respiratory problems will come later on, but as far as learning disabilities, he is so smart. He is so smart and he knows so much, and he's already doing like 3, 4, even sometimes 5-word sentences, and he recently just learned all of his colors. But I have noticed it is taking him a little bit longer to learn stuff, and it's always hard, like I said, to gauge this because he's still so young, and you know, sometimes kids just take a little bit longer to develop, or they do have delays. So it's hard for me to compare because I'm like, oh well, is this because of his Duchenne, or is it just he's having delays, or maybe he doesn't even have a delay, it's just taking him a little bit longer. So I don't really know, but he knows things, like he knows what things are, but when he talks, it comes out not as clear. Like, of course there are things that he says that's very clear, but sometimes it's very hard to understand him. And you know, like I said, I don't know if that's because of his Duchenne, or if he just maybe has delays, or maybe it's nothing at all. It's something that we will definitely see in the future for sure. And you know, at first I thought, you know, oh, he doesn't have any delays and his doctors haven't noticed anything, and we haven't had an appointment since his last checkup, so I definitely will bring that up to his pediatrician. And one thing I didn't know that I learned today at the appointment is that it's very common for them to have autism or ADHD, and he said one other thing, I can't remember what it was, but he said it is very common with muscular dystrophy. So I thought that was very interesting because I had not known that before. But I guess I'll just get into how the appointment went, and it's pretty much the same. It's kind of disappointing. I mean, it's good news because not a lot has changed, and Nolan's still, like I said, in this kind of constant phase or plateau right now. So that's the good news, but at the same time, I'm not really getting any more answers either, and totally understandably, because Nolan is still so young and his disorder is not really prominent right now. So it's kind of just like we're just talking about the future kind of thing. But one big change that's coming up for Nolan is that we have decided to start him on steroids. And this is something that really scared me in the beginning. If you go watch that vlog, it was definitely very scary to consider because I didn't think that that would be something for him until later on. And let me just say that I need to get Ian to do an update for you guys because you guys haven't really gotten his point of view on everything, and I kind of want him to sit down and talk to you guys. So let me know if you guys would like to see, you know, how his thoughts about Nolan's diagnosis. But we decided to go ahead and do the steroids. You know, it's not, I shouldn't say it's not going to hurt him because there are side effects, but it will definitely decline, or it will definitely prolong the weakness. So that's going to be interesting and something that was very hard to decide on. And I believe he's taking the new one that was just approved. There was another one recently approved, which is, oh my god, it's so amazing. I'm just so blown away with how much research comes out every single day and these new drugs that are getting approved. But he will be taking deflazacort, so Nolan will definitely be starting steroids soon, which is scary because there are side effects like weight gain, hyperactivity. But yeah, that's just some of the side effects from it. There's more, but I will definitely keep you guys updated with how Nolan's doing. That's pretty much all I have for this video because really not much has changed, but that is definitely a big change to this whole situation, is starting him on the steroids and seeing if they will benefit him. So as far as the future goes, I don't know what the future will bring. There are a lot of things that we do have to keep in the back of our head. Like, for example, when we do buy a house, we will most likely buy a one-level house for Nolan because he won't be able to go up the stairs in the future, and also, you know, having wheelchair access and all of that, and also eventually maybe getting a service dog. That will be, like I said, the future, but those are just some things that we're thinking about right now in the back of our head, and you know, that we just want to be knowledgeable about, I guess you could say. So I think that is going to be it for this update. I can't think of anything else to update, but if you do have any questions, you can always leave them down below. I will be down in the comments answering as many comments as I can. And I just want to say thank you guys for being there and supporting us. I still get comments every single day on my diagnosis video that I made, finding out Nolan's diagnosis, and it means so much. I feel like I have like this army behind me and so many people thinking about Nolan. It truly touches my heart, and I can't thank you guys enough for that. I really cannot thank you guys enough. I really don't even know where I would be if I didn't have YouTube. in the sense of Nolan's diagnosis, I would feel so lost because so many of you guys have shared your stories. It truly means so much. So I just want to give you guys a huge thank you, and I'm gonna let you guys go. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.
Won't you save, 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 save me? Won't you save, 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 save me?